Last night I was reading this book called The Time Warrior, and I've read The Wealth Warrior. It's by Steve Chandler. He's got these two, but they're sweet because they're just like little, each page is a chapter pretty much. So it's nice because it's a nice, like, fulfilling read. You feel like you're just blown through it. But there's a couple chapters last night, and they've got a quote for each chapter too. So I picked a couple that we are going to talk about.
Dun, dun, dun.
What do you think? Should we start with the wrong question one?
Sure. Yeah. Shelby read these to me briefly like 3 minutes ago.
I gave him a quick briefing. So the first one, I don't know, for some reason there's like 3 or 4 that just really stuck out to me that were in a row. So the first one, it's called Asking the Wrong Question. And the quote is, "The question isn't who is going to let me, it's who is going to stop me." And in the chapter it talks about how it's a habit that most people acquire in childhood, and it's a quest for permission and approval. But it's a habit that doesn't serve the grown up, mature adult at all. And for me, I think it just resonated a lot because in my childhood, I would always be asking, I started out by asking for permission all the time and it was with my dad. So anytime we wanted to do something, we would think, okay, do you think dad will let us do that? And then as our ideas got crazier and weirder and we knew he wouldn't let us, it just automatically shifted to, okay, well, do you think he'll, essentially shifted to, do you think he'll stop us? Because it went from he probably won't let us, but do you think he would fully shut down what we're doing if we already did it? And that was a shift that we made pretty early on, and I don't know how or why. I think about it sometimes, but it's definitely made a big difference in my life now. And even Jamie and I were talking about it last night, how we're always kind of riding the boundaries with things.
Right.
Not like anything we're doing, we don't really think, okay, are all the things gonna let us do this? Or do you think if we just do it that there would really force us to shut down what we're doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one's one of the major stoppers to, I'd say, it stops a lot of entrepreneurs from moving forward, I would say. And I don't know, my mind goes to entrepreneurs because a lot of people don't just take the steps or the actions because they ask for approval from people around them.
Yeah.
But it's not really just entrepreneurs, it's everything. A lot of people won't buy something, or the classic thing comes to my mind is someone will be at a store and they'll snap a picture of it to 10 different people, and they'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Before they buy it. Instead of just buying the thing because they like it. And it's but for me, I think it's important, especially if you're trying to actually do something in the world to change your life. You really, really shouldn't be asking anybody for approval at all. So
yeah, I never thought about it in the sense of buying stuff too, which is funny because I had the same thing too. I always have to ask my dad or someone or friends or whatever, like what you said, the snapping thing.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy how many people do that. It's you got to ask 40 people if they like this fucking photo or whatever it is you want to buy. And then you might get it. And that was, my dad just used to hate the shit I would want to buy though, because I want to buy Xboxes and shit. And he's like, man, those are fucking stupid. You're going to waste your whole life. So at first I would try and ask, and then I would just give up. I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to buy this thing. And if it's that big of a deal and he hucks it out the window, well,
yeah, exactly.
I guess that doesn't work.
Yeah, no, my dad used to hate me buying Nerf guns because he's super anti-gun. So he'd just be like, oh, Nerf guns, you're going to become a terrible person. First it's Nerf guns, then it's airsoft guns, then it's real guns. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not really, doesn't make any sense, Dad. It's just foam. But yeah, and I think also it seems like that is the problem with social media in a way, because that's really what all the likes are, is validation from other people,
Right.
and you're kind of like posting it out. And I don't know, like when you hear really big influential people talk about social media, they're having people run their page and they post something out and it just gets posted and they don't interact with any of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And they just post it out and they're kind of just sharing with the world, where I think most normal people post something out and then they're sitting there looking at who liked it, who commented, who shared it, all that shit, because they actually care about that little approval network that's actually liking and approving it. And it's just like the two different uses of like the people who are actually out there doing stuff and making influential things happen. They're not really caring about what people think or waiting for someone's approval or opinion. They're just doing it and letting people have opinions, because people have opinions all the time. That's what they do, right?
Yeah.
So